So
What about how do you, because it's one thing to like have brand deals and have the opportunities as far as like, yeah, I can work with this brand or whatever. How do you meld that into
yeah,
your thing, right? Because I think that that's an art.
yeah, for sure. Um, right now it's just kind of seamlessly worked out for me. I will say, like, when I first, made this jump to do my own thing, I was taking on anyone who wanted to work with me. I took on like a dress
Now you got to
client
eat.
in Dearborn because I was thinking I got to eat. And now I'm thinking about it to myself and I'm like, damn, I don't really rep Dearborn like I rep
Yeah,
Detroit.
yeah, yeah.
So now I'm like trying to, like you said, figure it out to where it's an art, to where it intertwines with my daily life. So I just signed on like workshop, which is a Dan Gilbert investment
Mhm.
into it's like a record media label, and they have Detroit artists. They work with like Skilla Baby and shit like
Yeah,
that. Like
Skillet,
that's
yeah.
something to me that
He
makes
just dropped
sense.
a EP the other day.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is something that makes sense to me because that's Detroit all the way. And when I'm working with them, I'm also working for AnnaRobbXO.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, when I'm in Dearborn, I'm not really showing that. So, like you said, it is art, trying to figure out which clients are going to make sense for me and them, which I'm going to get better at. Now that I know people actually want to work with me, I can say no to
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, because you looking at it from the perspective of, a person that's immersed in Detroit, right?
Hmm.
You're gonna have to expand though eventually.
I know.
You can't stay,
Don't tell me.
regional or even, local for your entire journey because
I'm trying to figure that out.
that's gonna be one of your biggest.
I know. I go to New York, which I love, and I post about it, and my followers are like, get this shit off of my page. And I'm like, damn, y'all, like I'm trying to grow. So it's been tough, but we're figuring it
you
out.
you got you gonna have to not care.
Yeah, I know.
Earlier in my content journey, I struggled with this because I was
Teach
so
me.
immersed. Well, I was so immersed in what it was that I was doing. Because my initial journey when I started this thing was to just kind of document my journey in my life,
Same.
and whatever it is that I'm doing, my audience is gonna wind up growing with me. The problem was that some certain things became so big. Like one of the things that I did, because even from a content creation perspective, I was immersed in architecture, right? I
Mhm.
loved architecture. I loved the city. I grew up,
Mhm.
around seeing. I even seen a lot of abandoned buildings when it became abandoned, before it became abandoned, after when it started to,
Mhm.
be fixed up and things like that. So I seen a lot of the different things. And when the Lions moved down into Detroit, I was heavy into urban exploration at the same time, right? And so in Urbex, I was literally the biggest and one of the last people to ever explore the Pontiac Silverdome
Damn.
before they imploded it, before we even knew that it was going to implode it. So that video immediately on YouTube did like 700,000 views immediately,
Yeah.
right? And I had seen different places. I had traveled to Gary, Indiana. I had went to Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
I've explored a lot of different places as well as showing my journey and where it is that I am and everything like that. But then when I started to pivot away from that because my life was moving in a different
Mhm.
direction, people was trying to keep me there.
Yeah.
And I didn't care.
You just kept doing it.
I kept doing because
It's your
it,
life.
it's like it's like a Nickelodeon kid. Like you can't let them keep you in the Disney box forever.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That your audience is going to travel with you. That they're gonna grow with you. And so as long as you don't leave the core of who you are, I believe, they rock with you. And the
I
same
hope
people that was
so.
rocking with me then, they rocking with me now, and they've just grown with me. And so you're gonna have to have the same courage that you had to move into Detroit
Mhm.
to also expand your reach beyond just the city, because that's, it's more opportunities. It don't mean that you leave in the city. It don't mean
Right.
that that's not the core of who you are.
Right.
But at the same time, you want to be
I need to
bigger.
grow.
Yeah, you want to be bigger than just your local space. So you're gonna have some courage with that.
Okay, I appreciate that.
That's gonna be your next journey.
Yeah, I'm taking notes.
So let me ask you this question: how often, like, how much sleep do you get a night?
Last night was rough.
Well, last night was St. Patty's Day,
I know.
so
I was out till like 3 a.m. and then I wake up every day at 6:30 a.m. So,
every day.
yeah,
Wow. See,
I'm an
they don't
early
know that.
riser. Early riser. I love my mornings. Like that's my time to actually chill. I would say, but I really value my sleep, like a
Yeah.
shit ton.
Yeah.
So I sometimes go to bed at like 8 p.m. if I can.
Yeah.
But it's hard because a lot of the events and the shit happening in the city is at night. So it varies from day to day. During the week, it's easier. I go to bed super early, but like last night, I did not get a lot of sleep.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. Okay, so we showing you the other side of it. You literally talking about the other side as far as like the work, the
hmm
sleepless nights sometimes, the grind, the hustle, and they people think that it's all party and games.
Mm-mm. It's not.
Hmm.
That's my biggest thing is everyone thinks it's easy and everyone has something to say. I go live all the time and people get on there and they're like, "Why do you only show this area? Why do you only do that?" I'm like, "I show my life.
Right.
This is for me.
Right.
I'm not the chief storyteller of Detroit. I'm Anna
Right.
AnnaRobbXO.
Right.
Like this is what I do every day, but everyone has something to say and everyone thinks it's so easy. Like
You got to stop explaining yourself.
I can't.
You got
You
to
sound
stop
like my
explaining yourself.
friends.
I don't. I don't care about comments. I don't care about none of that.
I need to get to that point.
Yeah, I
What do
don't
you
care
do
about
with
none of that.
haters? Do you block them? Do you let them run their mouth?
No, I call it the Mayweather effect. The
Okay.
Mayweather effect is Mayweather was the most profitable boxer in history, but just as many people tuned in to see him lose as they tuned in to
Oh
see him win.
shit.
But they both tuned in.
Okay.
And so the thing was, people thought that they hated him, but they didn't. They just were fans of what it was that he was doing. But he embraced them both.
Okay.
He didn't care about him because he realized that some of those people were actually fans in disguise, and then other people actually were tuning in to see him lose. And those same people was paying for multiple different fights to tune in to see him lose, as well as the people that were actually fans of his technical expertise in boxing. But the point is that they watched.
Yeah.
And so I embrace it.
That's interesting.
As a matter of fact, I lean more into it.
Okay.
The more, if I see something rub people the wrong way or bothers them, I know I'm on to something.
Okay.
Because nobody cares when you just, listen, if everything was all peachy and dandy, those are not the times that the most people tune in.
Mm-hmm.
They tune in when things get controversial or when it's a conversation. The gentrification conversation, right? That's something that people talk about because it's meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't run away from that stuff. I lean into it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like I'm like so sensitive to it.
That's because you're a baby in this.
Yeah, I guess so.
You'll
Like,
develop thicker
and I'm
skin.
very afraid of like being canceled and shit. So
You don't even do nothing.
I know. But God forbid I say something that rubs someone the wrong way and it's like
I lean into it. I don't worry about it.
I talk to a lot of creators about that and some of them say that do you know LaBrittany? She told me to block all of them. She's like they don't deserve access to your life.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would for what?
Oh,
Let them rock.
okay. Because that's what I'm like. I'm like they're helping my engagement. Like run these comments up.